Rupert Hine here, action coach Nick Kinross, and I'm joined today by Alan and Eddie, who are the Crumbleologists. So, guys, welcome. Tell us, what's a Crumbleologist?
So the Crumbleologist is obviously a new science, and it's something that we've come up with just to share our passion for crumble, but also to educate on crumble. You know,
Fantastic. So, I'm a bit partial to crumble myself, but so this is a really new venture for you, but it's been some time in the planning. So, how did you come up with the concept?
I was inspired by a similar business, and I just thought that's a great idea. And then I kind of looked into it and I kind of thought, there's nobody in our neck of the woods doing anything like this. So why don't we give it a go? Because we do have experience of having a previous business, a smaller one. But this time we kind of thought, let's bring this to the masses of Scotland. Let's not just stick to our backyard and let's get out there and actually let people know what crumble should be.
Lastly, our experience from previous business gave us better start with this one. We learned so much. We jumped through so many obstacles in the first place, in the first time. That this time we knew what to avoid and where to go to.
Yeah, with a better idea of what to avoid, what not to do, which kind of gives us a better start for this one.
So this has been what, a couple of years? Well, it's been what, 8 months in the planning.
Yeah, well, I would say 3 years ago the epiphany struck, and then from just before Christmas and the New Year, we were talking about it, and then we kind of thought that's something we're missing in our life because we loved doing the markets together and we loved working together, and we had parked our previous one and we just missed it. So we thought, well, let's do it. Let's get back into that. Let's fire this passion for selling up again. And we just thought, let's do it. But we took our time this time. We didn't just go in and start from nothing. We are self-funded. So we had to scrape the pennies together, and we had to test out our branding and our image before we even were comfortable taking it to the mass markets,
Yeah.
So you've got two and a half years of thought. You've got 6 to 8 months of planning, and you've got the lessons that you've learned from your previous business.
Yeah.
So this spotlight's all about learning the lessons, so that everybody else who's got an enthusiasm for entrepreneurship learns from each other. So what would you say was the most important lesson that you learned, that you've implemented setting this business?
For me, the biggest lesson I learned from all these businesses was preparation. Preparation. Once again, it's the most important thing, to prepare, to think through about every subject, every details of your business first,
every aspect of it
before you actually bring it to life. Because that can save you so much money, so much time,
so much heartache.
Exactly. Think through everything you've got. And also I learned business plan. On the very beginning, I didn't really think this is actually something I would need. Maybe I can start without business plan, but no, business plan is a crucial. It gives not only you structure and plan how business looks like and what you're missing in business, but gives someone else also the picture what you're actually aiming for, and in terms of even loan or business collaboration with someone or funding.
Yeah, and I would say he's coming from that aspect, whereas because I think we're a great team. Because Eddie's a chef by day, I'm a teacher by day, and I used to do web design, graphic design stuff. So I can kind of come at that aspect, whereas he's the recipe genius. Although I have to say the crumble topping is mine. Okay. But I think the biggest communication, talking to other people out there, and getting their advice. Now, you don't have to listen to it all, or I mean, listen to it all, but you don't have to take it all on board. But networking is so vital to getting your business seen, heard, and out there. That was the biggest thing for
and
me.
healthy running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a business plan. You've got two different backgrounds.
Uh-huh.
So with two different backgrounds, how do you divide up the responsibilities?
I mean, it kind of happens organically, you know, because I am a chef, so I kind of took over everything, all food-wise aspects of the business,
So
like
he
ordering.
he does all the ordering and seeing what's going out, you know, all that kind of aspect, and then coming up with the recipes, because we have our own twist on the traditional crumble, and even sourcing. We've moved out of our house because we were tripping over saucepans. So we had to actually move into a professional kitchen space. So that was down to Eddie to find that. I wouldn't know where to start. But he was able to pull on this network from his previous life, you know?
Yeah.
So Eddie's, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and Alan actually took over sites of the social media, all web design and all this. He's actually good with. So it's kind of naturally divides our business in this two sides.
Yeah.
So Eddie's director of innovation and operations.
Well, I don't know about
and
that,
Alan's marketing director.
I still have my input into that too, you know, Rupert. But yeah, I think I have the rule and thumb. So, because this is my baby, and you know, so we say I have 51 of the business, 51% of the business.
Yeah, that's what we set up. Previous business was 51 was mine, and 49 yours. So we kind of.
So I get the overall say on everything, really, which suits me fine because that's the way I like it.
Fantastic. So you kicked off in August, and you have had a really successful start.
Yeah.
So what's the secret of hitting that ground running?
I think the secret for that is it comes down to what Eddie said earlier, the preparation, getting your image and your story and your integrity behind what you're doing. It shines through. If you're trying to pretend to be something, people see through it. Yeah. And we genuinely love what we do, and we are so proud of the product we're producing, you know. And I really believe people see that. They see our enthusiasm when we're at the markets or when we're doing the pop-ups, and we actually get to talk to the customers, and their feedback tells us everything we need.
That's you mentioned integrity. I think integrity is very important in your business, inside of your business, because it is shining through. Yeah. Like quality of the product first of all, and then you're actually what you're giving to this product, like how this product reflects you.
Yeah.
And you have to stand for this. You have to believe in it, and if all this subject are kind of combined together, that's the key for success.
Yeah, I totally feel like our message was set before we launched, before we jumped onto our first market. We were 110% certain this is who we are, this is what we stand for, this is what we do. You know, we just weren't making it up. We knew exactly who we were.
So how did you go about creating that? How did you go about agreeing that?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I used my skills as a teacher, and to be honest, up in Scotland, we don't do year one. It's like S1, S2. And I remember taking some of my designs, because I use Canva a lot. Maybe I'm not allowed to advertise, but I love it. It's the best thing ever. And I remember designing various different logos, and I took it into my S2 classes and stuff like that. And I would ask the kids, what their opinion was on on my logos or on my colors, and they were able to tell me the story behind what I was going for. Like for the green, they knew it was because apple crumble. They got it. And they were able to tell me, well, this one looks like a fashion brand, or this one looks like a fun logo. So a lot of feedback from other people really puts in good stead.
There's something very raw and honest about kids.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
There's no dressing it up.
No, they will tell you if something is terrible, and they will say it in words that I can't say on this interview. I love their honesty because they are brutal. Like,
yeah.
Teenagers and young people are brutal, but the best feedback, because I
honest.
really feel that when we settled on the brand and the logo that we went for, it really summed us two up as people, but also the message that we want to give across for our business.
So when you were doing all of that research and you're doing the planning, what learning were you doing? So you've had a business before, you've learned from the business before, but what other learning were you doing to get things right?
I think learning how to use the social platforms better. Now, I'm still learning every day. It's so time consuming.
Especially, sorry to interrupt, especially that social media is changing so constantly.
Oh my goodness.
And
new platforms.
I've noticed that, the ways we've been advertising our business before, it doesn't necessarily work this time. We have to kind of learn the different ways to use it.
Yeah, so I think keeping up to date with technology and how to use it well, but without it taking all your time, because it is very time consuming. It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve.
So what marketing have you been doing?
So to date, we have been using a lot of the social platforms. So my favorite one is the Instagram. So I use it a lot, and off it, then I will share my posts and streams and reels, my stories to Facebook, and then from there, I can also share it to Threads, and then I can also share it to X, which used to be Twitter. So I kind of I create my posts in Canva. I use a design platform to help me, but I take a lot of photographs. And I use those in our social media posts and stories, because I feel that our customer need to see other people enjoying our product. So yeah, I don't just use the stock images, all that kind of stuff. We actually use a lot of our own images of our product and of the people enjoying our product in our posts.
Brilliant. So if you had, if you were talking to somebody else who's thinking of setting up their own business,
don't do it. No.
What advice would you give?
What advice would you give them?
What advice?
Have a good divorce lawyer nearby, because they may be called upon. No, it's because we're married, and sometimes conversations can be short.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are going to work with a loved one, you are going to need breathing space, and you're going to need to understand that if you're coming from different aspects of the business, your priorities will be different. So that can cause tension.
Yeah.
But it is about communication, talking through everything, and eventually understanding where the other person's point of view is.
Yeah. Other advice would be have your friends and people behind you, someone you can rely on.
Family and friends are
Family,
valuable.
friends, valuable. Definitely.
Yeah,
one of the most important things. I
think because we are self-funded, as we missed out on our startup loan, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. Family and friends are so important because they can help you out of a hole if you need it.
Also, just to be there in moment of a doubt, because you're
Oh,
gonna have a
yeah.
lot of doubt about the business and why you're actually doing this. You know,
Is it
waking
worth
up,
it?
is it worth it? Waking up
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning, you'll be like, why I'm doing this? But in this moment, you need a family, you need a friends who's gonna tell you keep going. This makes sense. You know,
If
so that's
starting
important.
business was easy,
It's
everyone would
not
be
easy.
doing it.
Exactly.
And yeah, having that support network behind you
Yeah.
is
It's very,
huge.
very
Yeah,
important.
especially because Edward and I, like, we're very open about our own mental health, and that's something we struggle with. We're up and down, and if we didn't have that wider network of support, it would be so much harder to do what we're doing. You know, you got to love what you're doing. We genuinely love what we are doing. We have so much fun, and it outweighs all the lows. You know, so yeah,
But sometimes even low, it's so low that you need someone else
kick you up the arm to get
kick,
you out of
kick your ass.
it. You know, but in other terms of with the actual business, have some funding behind you before you start. Now we've talked about family network and stuff. That's kind of the holistic end of it. But the actual business side of it, it's getting some sort of funding. Now we find it really difficult getting funding. We've applied for our startup loan, but due to our own personal financial situations, which we want the Crumbleologist to bring us out of, that's having an impact on us actually applying for funding. So make sure you're in the green, make sure your credit score is good, and that will, you know, help you avail of like the funding that is out there.
Yeah.
We will hopefully at some point, but so far we're doing okay on our own. So
Excellent. That's always good to hear. So if there's one principle, if there's one non-negotiable thing about the way that the business operates, the way you work within the business, the way the people who support you and work with you operate, what's that one non-negotiable that you've got in the business?
honesty.
Enjoy.
Oh, he's gone for the fun. I've gone for the honesty. I just feel being, well, maybe not honesty, but having that integrity in what you do. Because if you don't believe it, if you don't trust in your own abilities, if you don't trust in your product, no one else will. No one else will. You know, your customers know it. Market traders know it. The people who sign you up for events, they know it. So just having that integrity within your business, that's my main principle. You know.
So where are you going? We've heard where you've come in 2.5 months.
Where are we going? Well, the plan would be if we could get funding or if we could get an investor, something to help financially, because we are still relatively new, but because of the demand that we're getting and the feedback we're getting, the future is exciting. So what we do want is we want our own premises, somewhere where we can call home, a crumble corner somewhere.
Crumble bar.
Yeah, to have our own crumble bar. We even have the vision board done. So, you know, so that is the next stage for us because we're doing the markets, we're doing the events, we're doing the pop-ups. We probably, before we have our own space, would probably need a food truck or a food trailer to help us maybe do a festival or two, larger events. But we are building up to it. It's, you know, we've done it. We're now trading 2 weekends or two events at the same time at the weekends now. So it is getting bigger. You know, we are growing. We're having to take on some people to help us when we're at the markets. So we're now able to provide work for people, which is amazing. So we want to grow. We want to be the Crumbleologist in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, in Aberdeen, you know, because we are Scotland's first.
At the same time, we want to support and help people in similar situation with mental health problems, people who find it very difficult sometimes to go out from their shell and work with people after COVID.
Yeah, to give people like a stepping stone into employment. So that's something Eddie's way passionate about that. So it's about providing that space for people with mental health or additional needs that they can then find a way into work. Yeah. So that's something we are working on, and something we're really passionate about.
So business that started with passion, it's all about having fun with a big underpinning of planning, good support behind you, growing and delivering support for others along the way. It's a fantastic story. Thank you very much for coming and sharing it with us this afternoon.
Thank you for giving us the time and the space.